What's happening, YouTube? This is Doug Jenkins with iMixandMaster.com. I want to show you something we do for a lot of clients we work with. A lot of times I'll get a mix, and well, it'll start like with a mastering session, and then sometimes, as they build relationships with artists and things like that, we start talking more. I think it's a big part of this business. You gotta relate, and I think over the years I've learned how to sort of drop my pride. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I get what you're saying. I got it. And this is an instance, and I want to show you this. So we're in Pro Tools here, and we've been going on a track that was sent to me. Now I'm not gonna play the whole track, but I want to show you what we did. So we had multiple fixes on the bass, multiple bass parts. This is the same bass. It's just different variations of the bass. So on the first one, I had a duplicated version, and all I wanted to do is lengthen the notes. So shout out to JJP on this. He makes a plugin where he really makes it simple to length. So I had to get rid of all the tone. I just wanted literally like 120, and I started to hear some frequencies I liked in here that were helping the rhythm, helping the sound of the timing of the song with the kick and the snare and the percussion. So I left that in there. But this little thing here, it actually lengthens the note a little bit, and it's just very subtle, and it's really cool how it works. So check it out. So with that being said, this was the one bass we made. It's really cool. Check it out. Once I find the part where it's playing. Here you go. Without it. With it. I mean, you literally have to have headphones on right now. You would have to have it in a big system with big subs, but you'd hear the tail sort of go off in the distance. It goes dun dun dun, stop, and then this one with the Jack Joseph goes. It's like, I feel like I'm on Spinal Tap. Ours goes up to 10, but it is really that much of a difference. It goes dun dun dun, stop. So it gives it that falling kind of feeling. Listen to it one more time. So yeah, you're bobbing your head. Now this one, sort of short. Yeah, see, it's just that little change. It's just a little bit of an adjustment. And all of a sudden, you have this sub information coming out, filling in with that JGP. So that's the real subtle part. What we did to this bass. So when you're working with bass, timing is a very important thing. I know early on in my career, doing this, as a musician, doing his own music, um, I couldn't hear that stuff. Like, I couldn't hear that little tail on the system I had. So over here we have a really nice setup, and that's why if you're at your house and you're going, dude, I don't know, this is why this becomes important, and it actually overall helps the whole entire thing. I mean, it really does. Just that little bit of a difference. You might think it's like something like who cares, but it changes the whole entire feel of that track. So it as the snare and the kick, let me see if I can find that without giving away his track. I don't want to play this because it's not mine, and I don't want to get in trouble. But we will play the snare and listen to it with the snare. Now there's another snare here. So it's all timing, right? So timing with bass. I like you listen to a guy that plays bass well. They're like, man, dude, that guy can play bass. He's got funk. He's got feel. Like that's what they say when a bass player has feel. So we're adding the feel back with just a little transition. JJP made a pretty sweet plug in there. So now the next way I did it. Now this is like a total transformation of the track, and now this can get you in trouble, but just don't be afraid to get in trouble. That's my advice for today. Seriously, it's my advice. Don't be afraid to get in trouble. Like, if you feel something and you like something, go for it. So then I was like, you know what, dude? We could like totally change the bass and like see if they like it. Now I will do both, okay? So if you ever send me something and you're like, Doug, like, you totally transformed my song. I'll give you one that's just a little bit better. That's what we mean when we just make subtle changes to make big differences. That's a big difference. So here's the next one. It's totally different bass. I gotta turn these off. Totally. Okay, so if you're not used to listening to music, like, that's a totally different bass line because the notes are pulled out more. So if you listen to this in context, so it's dun dun dun. So it's a little more epic. It's a little more battle, ready to fight kind of feel. So check this out. So if we do that with the snare, this one works too. So yeah, you know what I mean? Like, now I'm doing this stuff, you know. So you can just change the groove a little bit. You just twist it a little bit, and now you have this awesome thing. And that's really what I think in the joy of engineering is. So let me show you how I got to that, because that's a little different. So the first one was just a basic duplication, JJP on the bass, done. Now I'm gonna make these inactive real quick so I don't mess up. I already messed up. It's the wrong thing. Sorry. This is why I gotta watch, because you gotta keep it organized, man. That's why I made these two pink. So these were the JJP. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how I got to that. So with that stem, without getting too involved here, I think I can pull this back here. Yep. All right. So what I did was I took this track, the original track, and okay, just making sure we're recording. I'm getting used to my video recording too. My vocal, you gotta activate it. So we're good. We're still live. So I went to Melodyne. So I'll show you how I did this. So when you go to Melodyne, and put Melodyne on the track, and if you know this, you can just skip through this part of the video. But a lot of people don't know this. So you take this and you hit transfer. Now watch as I transfer this bass line. This is the original bass line. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and I actually stretched these notes. That's the really cool thing about Melodyne. You literally put Melodyne on the track, and you can stretch these notes. Now watch this. I'll give you a little trick. You see how that's moving in time? We don't want that. So what we're going to do, what I did to get to that result so it was a lot more natural, is I did one note at a time. So I zoomed in here. Let me see. So as the first one played, I transferred. As the second one played, I redid it and transferred. And as the third one played, so it's like this. Watch. So transfer. Off. Second one. Third one. And there you go. So now hopefully it did it right. Yeah, so now I have 3 notes. Now the reason I do this, because I got the basic Melodyne and probably in the other one, or I don't use Melodyne as much as some people. If you're out there and you're watching this, you're like, dude, you just go to this button, that button, and this button, and then you can move them. Like, I mean, share that, please. Don't call me an idiot. Somebody's like, what an idiot. But that's how I do it. I did it quick. It didn't take me much more time. Now I can stretch this without moving the second one. I move this one, and then I can move this one. So when it plays back, check it out. Now this one, see, like even that timing, we can move. Let's see. This could be moved back a little, I think. No, you see that, just the subtle change makes a big difference. Okay, so yeah, so then this could be longer. And there you go. That's all timing in a sub frequency. Crazy, right? So then on that one, I could take and say add JJP. But actually, what I did, I think I went back in and quantized it after I did this. And maybe we'll do that in a different video. I think I gave you enough info for today. But that's how you do that. Once you're done with that, what I like to do, so I don't have to leave Melodyne open, is once I get that done, then I print it to audio. So I just bounce that one out. But the thing is this bass line. So you guys, if you're out there going, dude, you got to do that whole track, I'm going to say something. I did save myself some time in this with all these options by just realizing that it was looping over. So it was repetitive. You can copy and paste for that part as long as there's some sort of repetition to it. Most dance music has it. Most hip hop has it. Most pop has it. So yeah, taking the time to go into each note and just change the timing and the length and maybe just move it a little bit is one of the reasons. Yeah, let me pick this thing up. I have this MPC and I'll show you what a lot of people, let me see this. So I'm going to do a video on this. There's some cool stuff in this. And I know you probably can't see it, but one of the cool things and one of the reasons a lot of guys love this thing here is MPC timing. So, you know, we can get into MIDI timing and stuff, but MPC timing is a really cool thing. It's just a little bit off, a little bit on, but as you create shuffles, when you're getting into quantize, let me show you quantize, but as you're getting into quantize, you can look over here, and we'll get into this in the next video. Quantizing is another way, once you have it, you see the different swing features. You have different elastic audio features. And I believe somewhere, yeah, you can interject like an MPC style swing. And I'm telling you, it really is worth looking into. I mean, it's worth getting into that because just the subtlest changes in timing, it might make or break the track. You know, if you're listening to your track back and you go, I don't feel it anymore. That's not the time to send it to a mixing engineer. And I think a lot of times, to end this video, a lot of times people do that and they go, I don't know, man, maybe Doug can help. But if you are in that situation, you don't know where to go, this is really what mixing is. This is why mixing costs money, because we can get into little things. Now, if it was just turning up your levels, changing a few EQs here and there, adding some reverb, pushing some vocals up, you know, doing all that. But nowadays mixing, now I sound like my dad, nowadays, Doug. Nowadays mixing, nowadays kids, no, people want it melodyne. People want it on the grid. People want, you know, their kick drums to be dead on par. People want their bass to be dead and that's today's music. That's the modern sound. When somebody says modern to me, that's what it is. It's everything's to a grid. Everything's on time. Everything has feel. You know, there's no stone unturned. You're not hearing things like what somebody would classify like, the word misbehaving is not the right word because sometimes you push things to the limit and that's what makes or breaks the song. But it's like everything's neat, you know, and that's today's sound. So yeah, that's just a look at correcting timing in a bass. You can either use melodyne and mess with the notes and the length of the note, or you can just use a plugin that I'm going to give a huge shout out to, and I've used quite a bit, the JJP plugin. Let me make that active so you can see it one more time. And before we go, I'll talk about some of the cool stuff it does. So the JJP is really like one plugin that does a lot of sends. So when I look at it, there's probably, you know, a transient shaper he used in his studio that does the length, and he realized that works. Or whatever, it could have been something else. Edge might have been like a distortion or harmonic thing that you run a certain piece of gear and it gives it this sound. Your attack is really the front of that transient picking forward, so it's gonna hit you harder. Your width is obviously your stereo field, and your sub is your low sub information. I would say from 90 hertz and down, that's where sub information lays, and then the presence of the bass. I don't know where this one's set. There's 3 different settings on this plugin, but it will bring the presence up, which would be probably like 400 to, I don't know, 4K or something like that. So I don't know what that's set to, but that's like an EQ lift or an exciter, and it really does a good job. So hats off to him. But I'm going to end the video. I appreciate you guys continuing to watch my videos. If you like it, subscribe, share, get us back and going. I know I took like a 2-year vacation, and I apologize, but it was a well-needed one. So my name's Doug Jenkins, imixandmaster.com. I'll keep you guys posted, and I'll continue to do videos, man. We'll see ya. Peace.